What's up, everybody? Welcome to our channel, Honest Hockey Takes. I am Howin, and this is Scott. Today is Fantasy Fridays.
All right, guys, so for today, we got for you 5 players that are owned under 20%. These are deep sleepers that you might want to get, especially if you're in like a 12 to 14 team league, and we think these players could pay dividends for you.
Yeah, so at number 1, we have JVR, or James Van Riemsdyk, from Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia's not doing very good right now. It's well documented, but at least Philadelphia still has some players that are still playing decent, and JVR is one of the players. He's playing top line minute right now. He's playing on first power play unit, a big player. He has a huge overpaid contract, but that doesn't matter to fantasy hockey. So as long as he's getting points, you guys should take a look at him for sure.
Yeah, and what's really great about a guy like JVR is he's only 8% owned right now in fantasy, and that's because he missed a lot of time injured. This is a guy who's only played 14 games so far this year. He missed basically all of November and a bit of December, but now he's back, and ever since he's come back, he's been on an absolute tear, over a point per game since returning. And I mean, come on, under 10% is pretty criminal for a guy who can be switchable. You can use him as a left wing or a right wing. Lots of value right there, and I would definitely go pick him up if you have an injury and you need someone to fill in.
Yeah, and right before he got injured, he was still playing pretty good. So he has a good track record. He has played good hockey back in the days in Toronto, and he did play okay last year, and he was good prior to getting injured. So yeah, he has a good track record. You know what you're getting with JVR. You're not getting anything super special, but he does produce points.
Yeah, very serviceable.
Yeah.
Alrighty, our next player we got for you guys is Kent Johnson from the Columbus Blue Jackets. This is a player who is in his rookie season right now, and it's always hard at the beginning of the year to judge just how much a rookie will impact their team. Kent Johnson started off this year pretty slow. It was kind of underwhelming. He played some AHL games, got called up, didn't really produce a lot for the Blue Jackets, but now we're starting to see it. He's starting to get his legs under him at the NHL level, and he's starting to get kind of promoted in ice time. The last game he played 20 minutes, and the game before that he's playing 18 minutes. So he's getting those big top 6 minutes that we look for in fantasy. And this is also a player who's switchable as well, kind of like JVR. This is a guy who can play left wing or right wing, and he's going to get the chance to play with guys like Johnny Hockey, Patrick Laine, especially on like power play time, and he could have a really good second half to this season.
Yeah, Kent Johnson is a pretty fun player to watch. He's a young player. Right now, with how bad the Columbus Blue Jackets are, they're not going to go anywhere in the standings. They're going to stay in the bottom of the standings. It's too bad because they were hyped up with the Johnny Gaudreau signing. But in the end of the day, they're going to play, because of the situation of where the Columbus Blue Jackets is in the standings, they're going to play Kent Johnson a lot because there's no reason to not play him now at this point because they're not going anywhere in the standings. So, yeah.
Yeah, for me, this feels like the all-time low point for him to get him, last chance kind of thing, because like Cohen says, as the year goes on and this team falls farther out of playoff contention, they're more likely to get these younger players like Chinakhov and Johnson some more ice time and more power play time and even playing on the top line with different combinations just to see what they have in these players and help them develop into what they're supposed to be. And this guy's a former 5th overall pick. They're really going to want him to succeed, and I think that this is a good steal at this point.
So the next player that we have on the list is also a very young player. Actually, his first year in the league as well is Mason McTavish. I'm not the biggest fan of Mason McTavish, but he's been playing red hot lately. Ever since the Edmonton game, he's been throwing up some points lately. He is putting into good situations on this team, just like how the Columbus Blue Jackets are right now. They're bottom of the standings. They're not like the wins don't mean that much to this team, so they're going to be playing a lot of these young guys to see what they have. And Mason McTavish is a big part of their future of this franchise. Eventually, he will play a lot of minutes, put into first line power play, first PP1, first line, everything.
Yeah, so far to start the season, his numbers haven't exactly jumped off the sheet. The guy's going at about a half a point per game pace, but he's also only been kind of gradually worked into the lineup. We're talking like 13, 14 minutes a game. But kind of like Kent Johnson, as the games have gone on more recently, kind of almost at the midway part of this NHL season, we're starting to see him get a little bit more time, more power play time for sure. And he's starting to play with better caliber players, which is going to amount to more scoring opportunities and more fantasy points for you guys. And also, we've got to account that this guy is only currently 16% owned in fantasy leagues. So it's definitely a good value. Once again, a third switchable player that can play multiple positions, center and left wing. So you can play him on a Saturday, you can play him on a Tuesday when the schedule is really busy. Alrighty, guys. Now we got a defenseman for you for our fourth player here, and that is Erik Gustafsson from the Washington Capitals. Currently, this guy is only 9% owned in fantasy, but he's kind of been on a bit of a tear lately, and the Washington Capitals have been really ridden with a lot of injuries, and he is paying the dividends of this for sure. This guy's getting more ice time. He's getting over 20 minutes a game now, which is kind of incredible. And he's been the second best offensive defenseman on this team after John Carlson. This guy's at about half a point per game pace as a defenseman, which is really nice. And you know he's still going to hit, he's still going to block, he still adds those peripherals to your team, which is really nice. And on top of that, one thing I really like about Gustafsson is he loves to shoot the puck. Like for a defenseman, you might get 3-4 shots a game, which is incredible. Like that's just awesome, and it'll really add to your totals, whether you're in a points or a categories league.
Yeah, Erik Gustafsson is a very funny one. I've always have a soft spot for this player because that one year when he played for Chicago, I picked him up off a waiver, and he tore up, had like 60-some points that year, which is absolutely unreal. I know this guy cannot play good defense, but that's not the point with fantasy hockey. Fantasy hockey is all about point generation. If they puts up good peripherals and good points, that's all you care about. Power play points. In Chicago, he was putting up some big power play points over there. And like Scott alluded to, he's playing right behind John Carlson for the power play spot there. So it's a very important player. He's got a lot of tools in terms of offensive abilities. He's got a great shot. He can move the puck. The only thing that is not good with him is his defensive game. But hey, you don't have to worry about that for fantasy hockey unless you play in a plus-minus league.
Yeah, that's about the only time you wouldn't want to make a move for this guy, if you're short on defense, that is.
And the last and final player that we have on the list is 17% owned, and he's probably the best player that we have on this list, and that is Nick Schmaltz from the Arizona Coyotes. You know, Arizona Coyotes is a team that a lot of fantasy owners overlook because they're like, oh, it's Arizona, it's the Anaheim Ducks, or these bottom-feeding teams. They don't really look for these players, but these are a good opportunity to pick up players that can get points if you need that one extra player in that roster. That you just need to pick up. I mean, Nick Schmaltz is a terrific playmaker. He can skate. He's a big size player as well. So he's a proven asset. He's proven time and time again he can put up points.
Yeah, once again, this is another player who is going way under the radar. He should be higher owned than this by far. I'm honestly shocked that this guy isn't like 50% owned because he's playing top line minutes on this team. He plays on the power play. He's playing with decent players. Even though Arizona is not an offensive powerhouse by any means, he's still got 13 points in 16 games. And with this guy, we have some history. We've seen him do it before. This has been a guy who's gotten over 60 points before. He's been just under a point per game player before, like as close as you can get without being a point per game. So we know what we're going to get, and we get a guy that we can flex because he's center and he's left wing. Like you can play him either spot. It's really nice. And I would just pick this guy up if he's available in your league. Even in a league that's probably like a 12-man league, he's definitely worth an ad. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. That concludes our list for our 5 sleeper picks of the week. Me and Howin just want to make sure we wish you guys a Merry Christmas because obviously during Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we will be taking a couple days off. But I hope you guys all have a great holiday, and we will see you soon.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.